welcome to Commander Central episode 178, and today we present to you the 2019 Rifty Awards, our picks for the best cards of 2019. I'm Dana.
I'm Max.
And I'm Chris.
Gentlemen, welcome back to the show. How's it going?
It's cold out.
It's cold out, although it's not that bad for Wisconsin in January, I guess.
It's not negative something yet.
It's not Canada.
That cold out.
So how you doing, Chris? How you feeling?
A lot better.
But you had a rough go of it here the last several months between killer flu and broken foot.
Don't even remind me.
That just means you've got it all out of your system. Now you're going to be in good shape the rest of the year. No?
Yes.
Until you get
Crossing my fingers.
Until we wind up doing our next deck tech. Like, Chris is out. He's got scurvy. So how you guys doing? Anything exciting going on in anyone's life worth talking about? It's been pretty quiet for me this time of year.
Same.
Basically.
I had a birthday this week.
Yes, you did have a birthday.
I brought cookies into the shop on Tuesday.
I thought about just dropping it the day of your birthday in Slack and just be like, FYI, everyone, today's Dana's birthday, and just see how many people blow up Slack.
It did.
I did get quite a few people responding to me and on Twitter and on Facebooks and on everything. So
Yep.
I'm 1 year closer to death, as they say.
You are nominated for Best MTG Writer at the Content Creator Awards.
I got nominated for Best Writer for Content Creation, and EDH Recast got nominated for one of the podcast awards as well. And we were in the running at some point. Commander Central was in like the top 10 or something, but it's narrowed down to I think 5.
Yeah, 5 or 6, I think.
And
if
we
there's
didn't
6,
make that
there's
cut.
ties.
Yeah. But yes, I'm still in the running for Best Writer, so
Go vote for Dana.
if you would like to go vote for me on the Content Creator Awards, I would certainly not object to such a thing. And I'm going against a couple other people that Jason Alt,
Right.
who works for EDH Rec, is also on that list, and I think Kaya Vest, who writes for EDH Rec, is on there as well. So EDH Rec has some pretty good representation.
Very nice representation in those awards.
Obviously, I'm better than the two of them, but they're pretty good writers as well.
Oh, so now Dana's going to be writing for us because Jason's going to fire him after this.
Right.
There will be no other show.
So any fun games get played this week by anybody?
There's a lot of mill running in our shop right now, and I don't like it.
Yeah, that came from kind of out of nowhere. Chris built his mill deck, and then there's a Damius Age of Stone Petitioner's deck,
Yep.
and at least one more.
Suck it, everybody.
Damius deck was fine.
It was fine.
It wasn't a huge problem. I did have a play that I screwed up too. I was playing my Kresh deck, and I had Kresh. Were you in that game?
Was this the one where you kept a sketchy starting hand, or is this the game after?
I think it was the game after.
Okay, yeah, I was not in that game.
And I kicked off a couple of things. And I say I screwed up, but actually in hindsight, now that I'm thinking about it, I didn't, because things would have, I couldn't have cast as I wanted to cast. What I was going to do, I had Kresh out, and I think he had like 20 counters or something on him from a couple creatures dying. But I also had Doubling Season out, and I had Corpse Jack Menace. So counters going on in Kresh would be doubled and doubled. And I was at 1 life, literally sitting at 1 life, and there's a Gerard player in the game who at any point in time can do a Gerard thing. And my plan was, well, whenever Gerard does a thing, I have a Momentous Fall in my hand. So I can just sacrifice Kresh in response to whatever damage would go on the stack to hit me, or whatever ability or whatever it would be. Draw, 22 cards off Kresh, gain 22 life, and be fine, and then presumably have something in hand off all those cards I drew. The problem was, somebody went to, before we got to that point, someone went and killed a creature that was also fairly large, that was going to put like 14 more counters on Kresh, which turns into 28, which turns into 56 or whatever it winds up being. And I'm like, oh, I have to cast Momentous Fall on Kresh before he gets the counters on him, or I mill myself, or I deck myself drawing with Momentous Fall, which then opened me up to the Drawed player in response just killed me. I was like, because I thought I had it. I thought I had the perfect plan. I could just Momentous Fall Kresh from 1 life, draw it all, and my undoing was I had too many counter doublers in play. So what are you going to do?
Cut them all.
Cut them all. Doubling Season's gone.
Trash card.
I'm pulling it.
It's when you just fling Kresh at the Gerard player.
I didn't have a fling.
Be like, what's up?
I didn't have a fling in play, but I also did have a Rayhan in play. So like I assumed I would kill Kresh with the Momentous Fall, definitely draw some kind of a fling effect with the 20-some cards or whatever it is I was going to draw off of sacrificing Kresh, and then probably be able to kill everybody with the 1 or 2 fling effects I drew. It was not to be. And I also did, I think I posted a picture of this with my Sphinx deck. I did have a Reliquary Tower out when I drew 41 or something off. I don't even remember what it was, but I had like I had a larger
Yeah.
I had a larger hand than my library was at that point in the game. So that always feels pretty good too.
Must be nice.
Yeah.
Windfall.
Oh, that was not my Sphinx deck. That was my Sigarda
That
deck.
was your Sigarda deck.
And because I was able to cast like a Soul's Majesty or something off Sigarda after I got a couple doubles off of Nellia's Colossus. That was an enchantment race deck we had because you played Tuvasa in that game.
I did play Tuvasa in that game, and you were much faster.
Yeah.
You overextended with that Cyclonic Rift. You should have just left the man up and swung it at him because he was wide open to get swung at.
True.
He wouldn't have jump blocked with his Enchantress.
Well, I had the Teferi's protection.
You did, but then
he could have rifted.
Rift.
Then he could have
You
rifted.
should have defensively held the Rift.
I got greedy.
You did.
I won
As
later
soon as
in
you
the night.
rifted, I was like, "Oh, that's too soon, man. That's too soon."
Well, now that's become the new thing. So, right, like you always, when you're playing the blue player, you're looking to see if they have 7 mana free. It's now also become watching the white player to see if they have 3 free for
Yep.
Teferi's protection.
Yep.
I've like started actually watching that now. That's such a ridiculously good card. So if you out there in the listening world want to reach out to us and say hello or tell us what a fun game you played or just contact us in general, how would you do that, Chris?
That was very good, Dana. I saw you looking at Max.
I looked at Max.
You're like,
like
whoop. You can find us on Twitter at CMDR Central. You can find us on Facebook searching CMDR Central. You can find us on YouTube CMDR Central. And you can find us online at cmdrcentral.com.
You can also head over to patreon.com and search CMDR Central. And if you are so inclined to support us financially, check out our reward tiers, such as the Decks You Play series.
we also can be found on flipsidegaming.com.
Yeah, use promo code CMDR in all caps to get 10% off all orders, $10 or more.
I think we have a couple of contests here in midstream as well.
Midstream, so for Twitter, we're giving away 3 packs of Theros Beyond Death. So find that tweet we posted and retweet and follow us to get entered. And then for Patreon, for anybody that continues to support us or starts to support us, will be entered to win a bundle of Theros Beyond Death.
All right, very good. So this is a thing we've done each of the last couple of years, and we delayed it this year because Chris was out and we wanted him here to do this show, and then people started contacting us, hey, you guys going to do the Rifties this year? So actually, that felt kind of nice.
It did.
The people remembered and wanted to hear us talk about it again. And what we do here is we each go through for each category of card and submit something that we think is worthy of being considered for the best card of the year, and then we kind of all are going to decide amongst ourselves what we think the winner is. So what we have here is we've each submitted a nominee for each category, and the multiple sets that we can choose from this year, 2019, would be Ravnica Allegiance, War of the Spark, Core 2020, Modern Horizons, and Throne of Eldraine.
War of the Spark was the best set of the year.
Including... All right, okay. There's also some ancillary products here that will be included, signature spellbook, secret lair, that kind of thing. So first of all, what we're going to do here is we'll each pick our own personal nominees, and then over the course of the next week or two, we're going to post these all on Twitter, probably one a day.
Yep, so next 10 days. We'll start today when the show goes live, and we'll go through 2 full weeks, essentially, of having these ready to go in the morning.
Yes. So we'll let people out there vote on their picks, and then we'll do a show, down the road here in a month, and we will nominate our choices among our picks, and then we'll also mention what the listeners voted in on as well.
Perfect.
So first of all, Chris already voiced his opinion here on best set, but of those 5 sets, you think War of the Spark was the best?
Yes, by far.
How about you, Max? What's your pick here?
I tend to agree. I think War of the Spark was probably the best set overall all year long.
I'm torn. That's a pretty deep pool of sets, though. I will say that. Like usually in years past, it's pretty easy to look at them all and say, this is the one I would discount. Okay, the core set. I mean, like for the most part, you're not going to be voting for a core set, but it was still a really good core set as far as core sets go.
Right.
Ravnica Allegiance, basically the middle set of a 3-set block. It's not quite the same old, like, large, small structure we used to have, but the original Ravnica set, the Guild's Ravnica set is your return to Ravnica. So, like, in War of the Spark was the end of the storyline. For being kind of the middle set in that story, that's still a pretty great set as well. I am probably going to go with Modern Horizons here.
That was my second choice.
And I like War of the Spark a lot. And there's, although, like, weird Planeswalker stuff in it, we got the zombie gods, uncommon planeswalkers, which was a whole new thing. I liked it a lot, but one of my favorite sets of all time is Time Spiral, and I think we discussed this on EDH Recast, and the kind of the joke I made about Time Spiral and also Modern Horizons was I love the fact that they just like don't care about what mechanics they want to try. And Modern Horizons wasn't quite as crazy as Time Spiral, but it's pretty crazy. There's a whole lot of, what if a land had rampage kind of things going on. And that's super fun for me. I enjoyed that a lot. I know it was intended as a modern set, but there's a lot of Commander goodies in there. And so that is going to be ahead slightly for me of War of the Spark. So I'll be curious what the listeners say. I would bet Eldraine maybe gets a little more love than it got from us. I liked Eldraine a lot, though, too.
Maybe. Maybe the haunting of Oko still
that's true.
Traumatizes our listeners.
Yeah, well, and maybe the Hogak trauma is still on people's minds from
Gotta love
Horizons
the
as
Hodaddy.
well. So, all right, best ancillary product. Our choices here are Signature Spellbook Gideon, the Secret Lair products. That would be the ones not the Year of the Rat, so
Right.
the original
7
or whatever it was. The Collector Boosters or Commander 2019. We'll start with you, Max. What's your pick here? What's your favorite of the year?
I like Commander 19. It's
Okay.
a little biased. We're a Commander podcast.
Sure. Okay.
I like the Secret Lair products. The first 7, I didn't get any of them. I didn't get Year of the Rat, but there's something I like that they're doing more often, and maybe there'll be one that tickles my fancy, and I'll end up picking it up.
Okay. How about you, Chris?
I don't know. I mean, yeah, I could be biased to say Commander, but I really like the collector boosters, honestly.
Yeah.
The awesome pulls out of it. The price tag I did not like, but it is what it is.
They're fun. It's like cracking when your shop gets like a Modern Masters 1 box in and you pay the $30 a pack for it.
I remember doing that.
Yep, flip it or rip it.
I definitely like the Signature Spellbook and the Secret Lair that they exist. It was always a crapshoot with the From the Vault sets, whether or not you would actually be able to get one. Your store would get, 10 copies in, and sometimes like we had situations where we each were able to buy 2 from a store, and then there were years where you couldn't get one at all.
Yep.
So like that was super annoying. Whereas if you want to get a Secret Lair, you can get one. If you want the Signature Spellbook, you can pretty much get one every time. It's a good reprint menu. I like them a lot. Kind of 2019 was a really good set. I kind of like the Collector Boosters too. That's what I'm going to go with here.
There you go.
I think my only complaint about the Collector Booster product is the fact that it kind of makes pack foils not as big of a deal, because like if you want to collect the spicy version of a card, it's usually the foil, and the foil version of the pack card then winds up being less splashy than the special set version of it, the borderless version or whatever extra alt art kind of thing they do. So your pack foil becomes less interesting as a result. Nobody wants the second tier premium card for the most part, but that's like such a minor complaint.
Right.
But like for like me who has a foil deck, that just means the 2 foils I have to pick up wind up being $80 instead of like $25, and that's annoying because I don't want to get that second tier foil. But I like the packs. I appreciate them.
So I'm surprised that you guys don't have the Mythic Edition on here.
Too much. And actually, I forgot the Brawl decks, to be honest. I forgot those too.
Was that 20? Yeah,
Yeah,
that was.
Well, I wouldn't have voted for the Brawl. That would have made my. We can put it in the voting on the Twitter poll. Yeah.
On the poll.
Would either of you
I
guys
thought it
have
was just
picked either
like
of those two?
I would have just like railed in on the Mythic
Okay, all
Edition
right.
thing hard. I would have been like, yeah, that was the greatest set in the world,
If you could get one.
But yeah.
I have a foil sheet because of it.
I really enjoyed the 2 foil sheets I got because I screwed up the first one they sent me. Yeah. All right, best Planeswalker. Chris, well, you start this one off.
Ashiok Dream Render, by far the best Planeswalker in 2019. Hands down, mic drop. Don't care what you guys have to say about it.
Max, what do you think here?
My pick is Teferi Time Raveler.
Oof.
For those, that may not remember, he pretty much makes everybody cast stuff at sorcery speed, and then you can cast stuff at instant speed with his +1, and his -1, his -3 just bounces something, and you get to draw a card. Great control Planeswalker, one of my favorites.
He is really powerful. Ashiok is really powerful. I can't argue.
The reason I chose Ashiok is because of it is a straight up exile a graveyards effect in blue and black.
It's just a really good card.
Yep.
I get both of those picks. Narset is super strong, even if it's not maybe much fun to play against. Narset's really powerful. That's probably worth some consideration. My pick, and it's not the strongest, it's the most fun I've ever had playing with a Planeswalker card, and that's Tezzeret, Master of the Bridge. It's a ridiculously fun card, just being like, oh, all my artifacts are free. Woo! play your commander for 2 mana because it's got affinity as well. It's just a blast to drop and just start doing stupid stuff. It's at 6 mana, so it's relatively fair if you're playing a 6 mana planeswalker.
Sure, with all those mana rocks.
But that's my pick. I just adore that card. It's a blast to have an attack. But I completely get both your picks, and I think they're really, really strong. So, instant speed spells next. Max, what's your favorite here?
I'm going with Generous Gift.
Okay.
It's simple. Right out of Modern Horizons, probably my favorite instant in a very long time.
Great. I mean, it's the shifted version of Beast Within, basically.
Pretty much.
It's not quite probably as good because there's great removal in white, and whereas Beast Within is clearly a color pie break. So that
Generous Gift is permanent, though, which is nice.
Yep.
Right. Well, Beast Within has 2, but it's
in white.
Because it hits any permanent, it's just fantastic. Yep. Chris, what's your pick here?
I picked D-Spark. Instant speed, 2 mana, exile target permanent with CMC 4 or greater.
Okay. D-Spark's really solid. The biggest problem with D-Spark, and I considered it, was there's so much competition in deck slots for something like in a deck that can run D-Spark because it's black and white. You have Generous Gift, which you mentioned, Utter End, Vindicate, Mortify, Anguish Unmaking. There's so much competition there, but it's a really solid card.
Run them all.
I had a lot. When I went through, I made up my list. I went through the whole thing, and I wrote, however many cards jumped out at me, and sometimes there was 2, sometimes there was 15. There was a lot of things for instance I really liked. Dovin's Veto, Once Upon a Time, maybe not in Commander, but it's crazy in other formats. Narcissist Reversal is really good. I think Kaya's Guile is a ridiculously underappreciated card. Force Negation is obviously good. Bedevil is really, really good. Generous Gift, I'm not going to say a bad word about. That's a great card. In the end, I think I went with Return of the Wild Speaker. I've put it.
Green needs more card draw.
Right, exactly.
All hail our green overlords.
Well, and if you happen to not need the card draw, then you have an overrun.
Yep.
It does all the things you want. It does them at instant speed. It does them in response to something. Someone goes and return, to kill your big creature. Well, I'm just going to draw 9 off it then. Or, in Max's case, when it doesn't grant trample on the overrun, but
all your non-humans get +3/+3.
Right. Or in your Jamoka deck where they all have flying, you don't need trample for the most part. It's just such a good versatile card. That's what my selection winds up being. Up next, we've got the sorceries we'll take a look at here. Chris, who's your pick for best sorcery?
I had 2 of them that I was torn between.
Okay.
Being a red mage, I really, really like Light Up the Stage.
Light Up the Stage is a great card.
And also being a black mage because I play Rakdos. I really like the Elder spell as well. I mean, both of them I thought were really powerful cards in those slots.
How about you, Max? What do you think here?
I'm going to go with Winds of Abandon, so the overloaded Path to Exile from Modern Horizons.
I remember when that first dropped, everyone was kind of losing their minds over it. I've only seen it cast, I think, once.
I played it in my Rotisserie draft deck.
You did?
Back in Vegas.
Yep.
And I got to use it, and I've got to cast it for the overload cost before. I've tried it in a few of my decks. It didn't make the cut, but I do like it a lot. I think it's a cool design space.
Yes, that I agree with. Especially, it's much tougher to abuse that mechanic in a white. You can do things that are fair with it in a way that's in blue or red because they're so spell-based. It's much easier to do abusive things. It's a pretty safe mechanic in white as well. So I agree with that. I like both those picks. I liked Winged Words, which is just a better divination most of the time in blue. I like Dead of Winter a lot. I think it's a really solid board wipe in black. But my pick wound up being Finale of Devastation because green.
Another green card.
Right?
And I don't know if green needed that effect.
No, it did not.
It's a tutor, that can turn into an overrun and a tutor. But it's a card I've lost to more than a couple times, and I've won more than a couple games thanks to it. It's really flexible. You can use it, in your Enchantress deck to go get an Argolthean Enchantress early or late, just to win the game if you go and grab that Nihilus Colossus or whatever. So it's just a really good card.
You're supposed to be spending your mana to cast enchantments in your enchantment deck, not a sorcery.
Well, it goes in
Unless
bits,
it says
man.
Winds of Wrath on
I
it.
actually did have it in my Sigarda deck for a while, and when I went through and added all the stuff from Theros, I just cut tutors. I pulled out Idyllic Tutor, I pulled Heliod's Pilgrim, I pulled Finale Devastation, and I pulled I think it was just those 3. So I left Enlightened Tutor in as the only one, but I pulled every other enchantment tutor I had out of the deck just because it's too consistent and I wanted to run more fun cards. So
And I put Idyllic Tutor in my
all right, next up, speaking of enchantments and enchantress decks, we're talking about enchantments here. Chris, what was your pick?
I have 2 of them again, and I'm just going to cut one of them and just go with the one because it's the greatest enchantment ever made for red mages, called Fires of Advention. Phenomenal. Let's just play cards for free. Pew, 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 pew.
as long as you hit your land drops.
Yep.
I mean, we got a couple of really good enchantments in red this year that kind of do that. Fires of Invention, and what was the other one? Oh,
The one from Guilds of Ravnica.
Yeah.
Experimental Frenzy.
There we
which
go.
Would have been,
which is also a really, really good red enchantment.
The other one is, you actually have it on your list, Dan, as Tectonic Reformation.
Yeah, that's
That's
true.
another really good red enchantment.
And it's kind of draw based as well. Yeah, I like that a lot. How about you, Max?
I went with Rhythm of the Wild.
Yeah.
Just a better Fires of Yavimaya.
Yeah.
Essentially, so haste or make your creatures bigger.
And
Just a great aggro type card.
And one of the problems with the haste enablers is they don't stack at all. If you run, Fervor and something else, and you draw the second one, it doesn't do you any good.
Right.
Rhythm of the Wild kind of gets around that because you have the ability to put the +1 counter on. Instead, you can just ignore the haste part, put a counter on something, and it doesn't wind up being redundant with, your Hammer of Perforos or whatever it is.
Yep.
It's a really, really good card. I had a couple picks here. I liked Kendra's Transformation a lot. That's a really good card. Green.
Yep.
Chris mentioned Tectonic Reformation, which I liked a lot, and still do. But man, I had a tough time. I couldn't get past Smothering Tithe.
I specifically avoided this card
It's
because it
almost
was like a no-brainer.
Well, I kind of felt like I actually, and if we did do that, I would have probably gone with, I think Tectonic Reformation. But Smothering Tithe is almost like cheating. It's like picking Arcane Signet under artifacts. It's so obviously good.
I wasn't supposed to do that.
Well, I mean, realistically, it's probably the best artifact too. It's so good in every deck. Same thing is kind of true with Smothering Tithe. If you're playing white, it's probably worthy going in the deck, just period.
Yeah.
I intentionally didn't put it in my Kenrith deck, my 5-color deck, but it's a good card. It's a great card in that deck. I could have ran it. I can easily justify it. So I think almost any situation it's worth running. But yeah, it's a bit of a cheat, but I just kind of couldn't get past it. It's just so amazing. So how about non-legendary creatures, Chris? Who's your pick here?
Well, it's a good thing they gave red something to combat Smothering Tithe in Dockside Extortionist.
Card is so good.
Oh, you have all those treasures from your Smothering Tithe? No, I'm going to get a bunch.
The card is so good. I remember everyone was super hyped up on the Treasure Nabber the year before, which wound up being okay. It was fine.
I see it quite a bit.
I play it, and I have yet to steal someone's mana rock. It makes me so mad.
Well, but Dockside Distortionist is the real deal. It's legitimately a really good card in Commander all the time. And does it see play in other formats? I thought it saw some weird legacy play or something for a short window.
For a short window, I'm sure it did because you can steal all the Moxen.
Yeah, or at least make mana for them. You put it in play and make 6 mana or something.
Yeah,
it's really, really, really good. How about you, Max? What do you have here for non-legendary creatures?
This one was hard because there's so many.
Right.
So I went with one that's kind of fun to play in a +1/+1 counter strategy, which was Evolution Sage. The play land proliferate.
I was really shocked to see Proliferate come back in War of the Spark.
Yeah.
Because it is such a crazy strong mechanic.
Well, they had to do it that way in War of the Spark because all the Planeswalkers only have negative abilities and they pulled a rare one.
But it was still, I was just like, man, I can't believe they're giving us a bunch of Proliferate effects. They're really, really good.
A card that essentially helps you by just playing the game is awesome.
Yes, yeah. And doesn't just help one thing. Proliferate interacts with a lot of, got a -1 counter deck, it's going to do good there. Got a +1 counter deck, have a Super Friends deck. I mean, there's a lot of different situations where that Proliferate effect is really, really good in Commander. And I was...
Infect.
Yeah. Right. I was just surprised they gave us more of those tools.
Experience counters.
Yeah, right, yeah. I'm a fan of Embodiment of Agonies. I like that card a lot, and it's done really good work for me. I think Elvish Reclaimer is a really, really good card that kind of has flown under the radar a little bit. Hydroid Crassus obviously is pretty disgusting. Bone Miser is a neat, interesting card in a lot of decks. I like Dread Presence. I liked Hushbringer. I I think I'm going to wind up picking Embodiment of Agonies. It's
Interesting.
so often like a 9/9 flying with Death Touch, but I've played it at the end of the game before as like a 16/16.
Oh, this is the one where it gets a +1/+1 counter for all the different CMCs in your graveyard?
For all the different CMCs,
Nice.
and not just like
1, 2,
total
3.
CMC. It's like
convert the
right.
actual pips.
And like in my Glissa deck, there's been a bunch of times I've just dropped it and had it kill someone the next turn.
Nice.
It's been a really, really good card, and I actually have not seen, I don't think, anyone else play it, but man, it's just really, really solid. So that's my pick. How about lands, Max? What do you have for a land pick? There wasn't that many.
There weren't that many. So I went with the Horizon land cycle.
Sure.
But that's not a land. That's lands.
Okay, I'll pick the red-white one.
No, I think we'll use this. I think the cycle's fine. It makes sense there. Yeah, those are great.
Shocks, then. What's up now?
They aren't new.
I mean, like, I think if you asked people prior to getting those lands, like, hey, is there any land cycle you'd like to see finished? That would be it.
Yeah.
I mean, the life loss isn't that big of a deal, and
they still haven't finished them yet, so.
Right, that's true. There's still
Yeah.
4 more to go, which I'm hoping they finish those at some point because they are so useful.
Commander decks.
I wonder if we wouldn't see them in. We probably wouldn't see them in the Commander Legend or Commander. What's the one next November?
Legends. Yep.
Legends, because I think they're going to want them accessible in other formats.
Yeah.
But I would bet they finish it here at some point. So those are great. How about you, Chris? What's your favorite here?
Field of the Dead, by far.
I don't remember what we said about Field of the Dead when we did that. That was Modern Horizons, right? Or was
that's
it
Corset
Corset?
2020. Probably the best card out of Corset 2020.
But I remember the time.
Second best.
I read it and I was like, oh, okay, so I see how this works, and it's fine. It's way, way better than fine.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. Oof.
And since you have mentioned the thing about how you run a few snow lands that makes it even easier, even like a 3-color deck or something, I've since told multiple people that, and they all do the thing. They're like, "Oh my god, I didn't think of that. That makes it so much better." And then it was already good enough in standard without that. But yeah,
exactly.
It's one of those things. I guess I don't know why you keep being surprised by that, but when a card just rewards you for all the things you were already doing for the most part, yes, you need to change your land base up a little bit to take advantage of it, but like for the most part,
it really doesn't hurt you.
No, you can just put it in a deck. Like in Commander, if you're playing a 5-color deck, why would you not just put it in your deck? You're just going to get value for what you were already doing. I mean, maybe you have a limit on your utility lands, but like a utility land that just makes you zombies all the time for you showing up.
Every land drop, yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's just such a good card, and it's definitely one that, like, when I first read it, I didn't think all the way through the implications, because it's fantastic. We got some good lands. That cycle, the Horizon lands is really good. We had a couple cycles in Eldraine.
The castles.
We got the castle cycle and the uncommon cycle, of which Mystic Sanctuary is a really, really good card. And I think I also slept on that at that point in time. I didn't really get that into it. We had a couple of the good fetches, Prismatic Vista and Fabled Passage. Karn's Bastion is really, really good. Lotus Field. I think I got to go with Field of the Dead too. That's going to be what my pick is. It's good. It's so good so often. Artifacts.
Dana, why don't you go first on this one?
All right. I'm going with Mystic Forge.
Yeah.
Boo.
And this is one where like Arcane Signet probably should have gotten my nomination. It goes in every deck. If not, the Talisman cycle, which finally got finished, is fantastic. Bolas of Citadel would count here. There's a couple legendary artifacts that are really great. Again, Mystic Forge is so freaking fun to play, and it doesn't feel quite as cheaty as Bolas of Citadel. Bolas of Citadel, I genuinely often feel like, oh man, this is definitely degenerate.
Welcome to the dark side.
Right. Whereas Mystic Forge, I feel like it's not quite as degenerate. Not that I haven't like chained 6 cards in a row off the top of it before. And when I accidentally realized, if I have a mana reducer out and divining top, I just draw my entire deck. So I guess I can't run divining top
just
now.
with top, you pay 1 life and you still just
draw
right. 30 cards and you're like, what?
Yeah, even if you only have 2 pieces of it, it's still fantastic. Yeah. So, but even doing it's tough to do fair things with Bolas of Citadel. You can kind of play Mystic Forge fairly, and it's super fun. I have really enjoyed playing that card. So that's going to be my pick. Max, what do you got?
Chris, I think you can talk
Okay,
about
all
our
right.
pick.
Our pick is the Great Henge. So you
Yeah,
want to talk about
I mean,
breaking things? Let's
yeah.
play the Great Henge.
What were they thinking with that card?
Oh, I couldn't believe that when I saw it.
Oh.
I do believe when we did the review on that set, we all agreed that card was bonkers.
Well,
Yes.
I remember reading it when it was spoiled, and I was sure that it was probably. I was convinced for several minutes that it was probably one of those cards that was like spoiled in Spanish or something, and the translation was wrong. I'm like, well, that's clearly not what it does. Someone's got some word wrong here.
Oh.
I miss at least one part of that card every time I play it.
Yeah.
Like
The life gain. So like,
gain
why is
or
it
the
gain?
counter.
Why does it gain you life?
I never missed the draw though.
Right.
That card was, if someone pulled that in draft, they pretty much their pool was set.
Yeah.
I mean, the ability, even if they don't ever cast anything off it, just to tap it for 2 life was stupid.
Yes. Yeah. Like,
And that's why we need mana burn back. I said this before. It's things like that.
Yeah. You know what? I feel like the Great Henge is going to get a lot of votes, and I can't argue with any of them. So I'm with you guys there. All right. How about legendary creatures here? We're down to the last category. These are things that can be your commander, but I guess we didn't specify it had to be a commander. It had to be a legendary creature.
Right.
Max, what are we starting with here?
I'm going with Corvold, the Fey Cursed King. I've seen the decks around. Some of my friends have them. Some of the friends we've met in Vegas have them, and it's just a pure value engine.
It's
like
disgusting.
a lot of those Brawl deck commanders kind of are. But
Okay.
it's disgusting, and I like to watch them play it. I don't build one because I don't want to be that person, but I love watching them get played.
Chris, how about you?
I have to go with Golos Tireless Pilgrim.
Okay.
And the reason I chose Golos is because it makes 5-color decks extremely viable.
Sure.
You can build any type because Golos himself is just a land tutor for 5 colorless mana.
Well, it makes a 5-color deck viable even if you don't have a lot of money to spend on a
Yes.
good mana base.
Yes.
Makes it a lot easier to play that way.
Yeah, and his ability to go for any land after, when you hit 5 land drops or whatever, tap them, cast them, any land into play
Yep.
tapped. Woo!
Go get your Field of the Dead.
Maybe.
Yeah. I genuinely dislike Corvold,
I know you do.
but I understand power-wise, it's super, super strong. Same for Tulane. Same for like Urza. Feather was a card that people wanted for a lot of years, and there's a lot of people that built Feather because it was kind of an in-demand. And it's a really strong card in Boros. Hogak is, ruined Modern for 6 months or whatever it wound up being.
Free Hogak.
Just like Eldrazi Winter all over again.
Basically, yes. I think Ilharg was a great design. I think Sir Conrad is really, really strong. My pick winds up being Teysa Karlov. I think she really strikes the balance. But number one, it's a character that everyone likes. It's always liked Teysa. It was nice to see her back in Ravnica, back in that set. It's a powerful card. It's also interactive. It's one that you can respond to. The decks don't always look the same. You see different things happening often. It plays different. I think it kind of hits that sweet spot where it's a fun, interesting card that is fun to play against. It's got Vorthos stuff going on. It just kind of hits all the quadrants I like to see from a commander. So I am picking Teysa Karlov there. All right, we are going to put this all on Twitter, and people can vote, and we will revisit it here probably in a month after we've had a chance to go through all these and tabulate our results, and we'll see what you all picked, and then we'll kind of vote amongst ourselves among our picks, too,
Hey, Max, you
for
want
the
to have
official
another
results.
No.
pie contest
No.
to see who wins this one?
Because in the end, the listeners win.
Maybe
Exactly. That's why you agree to the contest.
You know what?
It's a win for them.
Maybe we'll do those both on the same show.
There we go.
Well, that seems like something we should do here. So that went pretty quickly. We're going to, I think, now spend a little bit of time talking about the year ahead. We just talked about 2019, the year that passed. Let's talk a little bit about 2020 and the year coming up. April's going to be crazy because simultaneously we get Korea and 5 commander decks all coming at the same time. So normally you at least have a break in between something like a big set and commander products where we have gotten 4 decks for the last 3 or 4 years now.
Yep.
We're getting 5 decks now, and we're getting a set at the same time. That's going to be crazy. So at least we have a little bit of a breather between now and then.
I'm
But
curious the price tag on those decks because if I remember correctly, when we read over them, there's only going to be 10 new cards in it, and the rest are all going to be reprints
Nope,
or
that's
something like that?
those are the because there's commander decks that will also come later in the year.
Yep.
With
The sets.
with
The standard sets.
with Zendikar and stuff, and those ones
Those
are
are the
mostly
ones,
reprints. But these ones are the traditional, and actually I think they have more new cards than are usual.
Yeah. Well, there's a 5th deck now.
There's
So
fifth deck, yeah, but
I wonder if they'll be monocolored because there's 5.
I mean, could be. We haven't. It's been a few years since we've done that, so that could be.
It's all going to depend on the plane that
Yeah.
it's on.
Yep.
So, and Accordia should be interesting too. It's a weird world with giant beater monsters.
Reminds me of Monster Hunter.
Yeah, a little bit, yeah. So I'm looking forward to that plane as well. Then we have a core set after that, and then Zendikar in the fall.
Yeah, Zendikar is. I hope it's better than Battle for.
Well,
I don't know what you're talking about. I got Ulamog out of that. I got Reality Smasher, Thought Not Seer, Eldrazi Winter.
They've basically said that this is not. Battle for Zendikar was more or less a sequel to Rise of the Eldrazi.
Gotcha.
This is a sequel to Zendikar. So this is
More-
going to be very much back to adventure world, and everyone
Landfall
rebuilding.
base,
Yeah.
all
Trap
the
cards.
creatures, that kind of stuff.
And the Eldrazi were neat the first time through, but I think that it felt like overkill the second time.
It will be cool to see Zendikar after the Eldrazi
Yes.
gone and see how it's reformed.
Four
and what's going on.
color Omnath.
See, I think Eldrazi would have been fine when they redid them, but they did it so deep into they did it into Shadows over
We
Innistrad
definitely did
and
need
all that.
4 sets in a row. Was
Yeah.
a lot for
Yeah.
sure. So yeah, I'm looking. So of all of these sets, what are you guys looking forward to the most?
Commander Legends.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, okay, sure. Well, because I keep doing that right now, is I keep thinking whenever I look at a card, I'm like, when is this going to get reprinted? I'm like, oh well, probably Commander Legends. When am I going to get my foil Arcane Signet or my foil Mystic Remora? And I'm like, I got a lot of hopes and dreams
Arcane
riding.
Signet has a foil version.
No, it does not.
No, it does not.
I thought it was in the collector boosters.
We thought it was too initially, but it was not in there. Yep.
Yeah.
So it doesn't have one. So yeah, I
I
keep
will look this up because I do believe that it's on TCG Player.
So I keep looking. I'm like, Thought Vessel. When do I get a foil? I'm like, well, maybe it'll be in Commander Legends. So that's definitely probably the one I think we're.
That's probably where they'll print the foils that you're really looking for.
Yes, and there's also going to be 80 legendary creatures. Wasn't that what they said?
70 or 80,
So,
yeah.
yeah, I mean,
including Baron Sengir.
Yeah, and there'll be reprints in there, obviously. So it won't all be 80 new legends, but there'll be a lot. So that one I'm pretty hyped for. We got a preview this week of the new unset stuff,
Yeah.
which isn't my jam. Are either of you guys going to be doing any of that?
No, I really was going to buy it for the lands just to get a nice
Lands
full
look
art
good.
land base. But I read the thing on it, and there's only going to be 10 lands per box.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, no, that's not even worth it then.
The lands are sharp, though. They're kind of a combo of the first two. It's like the borderless ones from the second, or the third unset, I guess it would have been,
Yeah.
combined with the weird kind of semi-mini frame from the very first unset.
Which is my favorite.
I like those lands a lot. The old, really old-timey looking kind of brown, a lot of brown
Yep.
frame. I like those lands because they're really unique to that set. So yeah, I'm a fan of those as well. Yeah, that one doesn't excite me, but
No.
if you're into it, then good for you. You're
Yep.
getting something. We're getting plenty of Commander goodies this year. So, okay, so let's talk a little bit about our Magic Fest tour schedule here.
We're hitting the road.
We're hitting the road. We actually were looking at flights today for Seattle.
Yep.
That's first weekend in June,
Correct.
and it's only a 3-day GP. I thought Seattle was a 4 in the past,
In
but
the
it's
past, it has been, but I
but-
think because I bet they'll get another Command Fest later in the year.
okay, that might make sense. Sure. So we're gonna go. We'll be there. I think we're gonna go over on Thursday night is the plan. Max and I. When I say we, I say Max and I. Chris's ankle monitor won't let him leave the state. I should make that joke. We want to really.
No, I would leave that in there. I think it don't bother me.
So Max and I are gonna go to Seattle, and we'll fly in Thursday night, and we'll be there all day Friday, Saturday, probably a good chunk of Sunday.
Yep.
And I'm pretty sure Matt Morgan from EDH Recast is planning on going to that as well. So, and Joey lives in Seattle, so we'll all be there.
The gang reunited.
Yeah, from KC last year.
And I believe CC Orion will be there.
Yes, yeah, that's right. So yeah, that's catching up to us here. That's not that far away.
Not at all. The way January flew by.
Yeah, and then
Right
we have
after that.
right after that is what, SCG Con?
SCG Con is the next Thursday through Sunday.
Yeah, so we'll get back from Seattle, and Max and I are going to go to SCG Con again that next weekend. So that should be we'll be feeling it after that several day stretch there,
Yeah,
after that
it's
week and a
gonna
half
be a
stretch.
wild 2 weeks.
And then we have a little bit of a break for like a month.
Yep.
And then there's Minneapolis.
Local one over in Minneapolis.
So we'll be over at Minneapolis for most, like in the last couple of years, I think we've only gone for like the Saturday or something.
Yeah, because it's the last few years it's been the weekend.
Really close to Vegas.
The weekend or 2 weekends before Vegas. So yeah, we've only gone for the day. But this year, I think the plan is go for the full weekend.
Yeah,
again.
I think so. We'll go Friday, Saturday, probably a chunk of Sunday.
Yeah, CC Orion is coming to this one as
Yep.
well. So
Chris will be there for sure.
Yep, I'm calling out one awesome person called Aaron Campbell. I'm stealing your crown. If you're there, I will steal it and I will wear it around the GP.
I'm pretty sure
Ooh.
she will. She's been there in the past, and we had talked about it. So hopefully she'll be there for sure.
Call out. That's what that is.
That is because you're just going to play Commander. You're not planning on doing a main event for
because
anything
it is
this year.
limited and it's going to be a corset limited. I'm like, oh no.
yeah, that didn't work out for you so well last
That's
year.
rough. And then we have
Wow, Chris in the command zone
Yeah.
all weekend. That's
that'll
gonna
be
a
fun.
blast.
No, that'll be sweet.
Just got to see if people can find me.
You just
No,
gotta- you'll hear your laugh.
No, you're findable. Yeah.
I don't know what you're talking about. Remember that program that we're going to design
Yeah.
for Dean, and that's what I'm gonna put on like a mouth,
A
like
voice changer.
yep, just,
Like
that's what I'm
Bane.
gonna walk around.
like Bane. Then let's see. I think after that is not till is Vegas,
Is
right?
Vegas is in August, yeah.
So we'll do Vegas again for sure. Max and I at least. Milwaukee is
October.
in October, and then we have not got any Commander Fest announcements yet. So I don't know if they're going to do more of those, or if it's just going to be Seattle, Chicago, whatever
Yeah.
again. If they do one in Chicago again, I think we'll definitely try to go to
Yep.
that,
Yeah.
and we'll see if we want to do anything else, depending on what other ones they may announce.
I mean, I tentatively want to go to Anaheim.
Yes,
That's
true.
in November.
That's in November.
He just wants to go because he's a Ducks fan. Don't even get it twisted.
Not my fault that the convention center is a 10-minute drive from the stadium.
Yeah,
And if there's a home game, I'll go after playing Magic all day.
yeah.
No, it's going to be like our EDH nights. Oh, I die? Okay, I'm going home. Oh, why? Oh, the Ducks are
on.
playing.
Game starts in 20 minutes.
Yeah, Anaheim was one that is on a tentative list, I
Yes.
think, as well to try
Depending on how
to go
the
to.
year goes.
Yeah. So we're gonna have a busy calendar here for the year, and you're taking a break from doing competitive stuff this year, Chris.
For the most part, yep. I got a team tournament in March that I'm going to, and
Okay.
other than that, I'm not planning on anything. Whatever pops up, pops up.
We had a couple guys from our shop that went and played in New Jersey last weekend.
Yes, and they both made day 2, and
Awesome.
then one guy missed cashing by one place,
Oh, no.
and the other guy refused to talk about how his day 2 went. So,
Oh, no. Anyone from the team start going to Phoenix next weekend?
yes, there are 1, 2, 3. I think there's 6 of them that are going.
Oh wow,
So,
nice.
Raphael, look for the nice D20 team jerseys.
And
Yeah.
bright green.
Bright
All
green
right.
and black and bright green. Bright green. Wow.
I'm hoping next year they spread. They just want it being like everything local to us and the big events. Everything's in the summer.
Yeah.
It would be nice if we'd have a few more of these, like if Seattle was in March or something, and just spread things around. But that,
Yeah,
that
why
was
can't
not
they
to
give me
be.
one in like Dallas or something in the middle of January.
Austin was just 2 weeks ago, but
Yep.
it was at a weird time because you're going to Austin, and
In a week. Like
Yeah.
a week from this episode airing, I'm leaving.
so you'll be in Austin just playing Commander with people.
Yep.
I'm looking forward to hearing reports back from that.
It'll be fun.
Any decks you need to borrow to bring down there?
I have not gotten that far yet.
Okay,
I
all right.
gotta have Grumgully built by the time I leave.
Okay.
So I'll for sure have 5 decks with me. I might bring a 6th. I might bring one of yours, might bring Mogus. We'll
Okay.
see what happens.
How's
I have an awesome mono red Torbrand deck you can bring.
Oh god.
you built Torbrand?
It's set up for 1v1.
Okay.
And I still was taking on 3 people in a pod.
Oh, nice.
Where I put them all
Torbrand's
down
really
to like,
good.
I put them down to like 10 life on like turn 6, all of them, and then completely lost all card advantage, everything, because I blew everything
Right,
off.
right.
And then they're just like, oh, well, he can't do anything, and now we got to try to stabilize because we're all trying to kill each other. I'm like, Mwahaha, burn spell here, burn spell there.
Yeah, Torbrand's really sharp,
we
really
need them
solid.
for 5.
Is there anything else you're working on? Something else you had mentioned,
I'm
Max?
working on a Perforos.
More fun humans.
Nope,
Oh,
that,
wait,
that
what?
got trashed. Perforos the Bronze Blooded.
Okay.
I have it sketched out on deck stats. It's ready to go. I just need to do Grumgully first. So this will be hopefully by Seattle, I have it all pieced
Okay.
together once kind of the prices drop a little.
You have anything you're brewing up, Chris?
I have a couple of decks I need to start putting together. Like I want to do my Charlie's Angels deck.
Yep.
And I want to do a 5-color Planeswalker deck of some sort because they seem to be running rampant in the shop. So I'm
Ugh.
just going to jump on the bandwagon.
No more gold. No more Zakama.
No, it's still sitting there in my binder, and I look at it all the time and go, eventually.
But you get the new everything taps for triple, and just go to town.
That's true. No.
All the lightning bolts.
So that happened in one of our games this week.
The mana triple where somebody got it out?
My buddy Nate activated Golos.
Oh, no.
Flipped it. He came in, and he goes, oh, tap, 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 tap. Exsanguinate for like 40, and I'm like,
Activate Golos 1,000 times.
Yeah.
Right?
Oof. That's rough.
When you can tap, what is it, Bloom Tender? Is that
Yeah.
for 15?
Mm-hmm.
That's insane. I wound up, I think I'm going to, I've got 2 decks I'm kind of messing around with right now. And I definitely want to have one more new one built before we go to Seattle. So I'm either going to build 1 or 2 of the new Anax.
Okay.
See, Hardened in the Forge.
Yeah.
And I tentatively was building like kind of Voltron-y, but I was trying to run only creatures that have 3 or more red pips in their casting cost.
Oh.
Durgan.
It's mono red. I mean, like it's not difficult to do that, but there's a lot of red stuff with like triple red in the pips. And then trying to figure out, because the problem then is I'm like, okay, do I want to just run as many permanents as I can? Run like
Furnace of Wrath. That has triple red in it.
Right.
Yep.
So just run as many kind of. So when I drop him, I'm like, oh, he's a 22, 3 or whatever it winds up being. 'Cause it's just his power. So I'm messing with that, trying to figure out how to do it. I'm still on the digital version of that. I haven't even attempted to buy cards, just trying to figure out the right mix.
I have a card for you for that.
Okay.
There's a 3-mana mana rock that they printed in the new Theros Beyond Death, and it increases your devotion by 1.
Yep.
And it taps for a color of mana, and if you control a god, a demigod, or something else,
And he's
you
a
gain life.
demigod. Yep.
Yep.
There's also, I found, there's an old, I think it was in the dark, and it got reprinted in the 4th edition. There's actually a red mana dork, Sisters of Flame,
Yep.
that has double red in the cast. It's double red, so maybe I'll drop it to allowing 2. I'm like, oh, there's ramp, and it's on a mana dork, and it gives devotion for Anax.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, I'll have to run that. And it's a terrible card that no one runs, so I'm like, that's perfect.
I haven't seen your Exalted deck lately.
I've still got it together.
Still got it together.
Yep, I didn't bring it the last 2 weeks.
Okay. Can't give up on that.
I'm keeping that. I'm keeping it
challenge from
together.
Joey.
That's gonna stay my deck when I sit down, because there's been a couple times at Magic Fest or in command zones where I sit and play with somebody, and they're clearly a new player or somebody who just doesn't have a lot of cards. And I'm like, oh man, my weakest deck is going to be a problem against this barely modified precon.
And that's why I play Mill against new people, because my theory is they get to see all the cards that are in their deck. At
Well,
least.
I mean,
Not in a fun way.
right. So as strong as the commander in that deck is by himself, like there's just a hard power cap on an exalted deck,
Right.
5-color exalted deck. So I'm definitely going to keep that as that deck I play against people like that. But
Nice.
the other one I'm kind of messing with is I'm trying to figure out between Lysolda or Judith, the Scourge Diva,
Ooh.
Rakdos Infect. And the particular plan there, in addition to infect creatures, is both of them do damage to players when something dies. And
Put
there's
something that gives them infect on and just
graft
start
an
sacking.
exoskeleton or phyresis, or there's 4 or 5 different ways you can give the creature
Yeah.
infect, and then sacrifice a bunch of stuff to do damage to people. I'm like, it's infect, but that's a narrow enough deck, I think, that it won't be as annoying as if you were just trying to go all in giant growth stuff, hit people with infect. So I'm trying to figure out the balance there for that as well. So I'm gonna have one of those 2 decks, I think, built by Seattle for sure.
Awesome.
So that's our plans for 2020.
It's going to be a good year.
It is. I'm looking forward to it. We also had a bit of a break now from sets coming out, so I'm after getting burned out all summer long with 14 or different things to talk about. We've had a nice break, so I'm rejuvenated and ready to go. All right, that will wrap up this show. Thank you very much to our editor, Rafael Garcia. You can find him on Twitter at Ursa Bearwalker. You can find me at Dana Roach. You can find Max at CMDR_Max. You can find Chris at WiseSquishy1. Our podcast theme is Retro Future Dirty by Kevin MacLeod, licensed via Creative Commons. And we'll be back on Thursday with a deck tech. Until then, I'm Dana.
I'm Max.
And I'm Chris.